This is a NetScope tutorial. NetScope is an internet monitoring and bandwidth guarantee solution. Today we're going to have a look at how you can use NetScope to make sure you're getting the bandwidth that you're paying for. In my career working with NetScope, I've come across quite a few situations where after installing NetScope to monitor a business internet connection, it becomes immediately clear that the business is not getting the bandwidth that they're paying for. So what I want to show you is how you can use NetScope to determine whether or not you're getting the bandwidth you're paying for. So what we can see here is a weekly view of the inbound and outbound traffic on an internet connection. Now we can see on the inbound direction we're maxing out at about 4 megabits per second, a bit over 4 megabits per second, and on the outbound we're maxing out about 1.5 megabits per second. Now this particular internet connection should be 10 megabits per second on the inbound and 5 megabits per second on the outbound. And from what we can see here, it doesn't look like we're getting what we're paying for. So how do we test the link? Well, as most of you probably already know, there are lots of speed test sites out there, but a speed test site doesn't give you the full picture of what's happening over your internet connection. So for example, if you start a speed test, you'll see the speed tests as it's happening in isolation, and you'll see how much bandwidth that the speed test can get, but the speed test is actually fighting with the other traffic on the network, and that can actually skew the results of the speed test. So what you need to do is actually look at the link as a whole while you do the speed test to find out how fast the connection actually is and how much it's actually getting. So to show you this, what I'll do is I'll flip over to the live view, and we can see this is the current traffic that's coming across the internet connection on this network right now. So we can see we've currently got something traveling at 1.2 megabits, and on the outbound it's about 50k. So what we can do here is start a file download from a speed test site and see what bandwidth we get. So as I've just commenced the speed test, and we can see that it's started to max out the entire link at about 3 megabits. Now that's well below what we're expecting. We're expecting 10 megabits. So we can see at a glance that we're not getting what we're paying for. We're paying for 10 megabits, and this link is only getting 3 megabits. Okay, so what this does is it gives you ammunition to go to your ISP and say, look, we've been monitoring our internet connection, we've been doing speed tests, we can see all of the traffic passing in and out of our internet connection, and we are not getting 10 megabits, which is what we're paying for. So you've got hard evidence to show your ISP that you're in fact not getting what you're paying for. And this allows you, in many circumstances, to go back to your ISP and say, look, you need to fix this, and please can we have a refund for all those months that we haven't been getting what we've been paying for. So as you can see with NetScope, a very useful tool for checking how much bandwidth you're getting and measuring that against what you're expecting. This has been a NetScope tutorial. If you're interested in knowing more about NetScope or getting an evaluation copy of NetScope, head over to netscope.com.au.